ఇటు షీట్ వైపు వస్తుంది. మీకు 4 కనపడుతున్నాయి, ఇప్పుడు 3 కనపడుతున్న ఫ్రింజెస్. తర్వాత 2 ఒరిజినల్ 2 ఫ్రింజెస్కి వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఈ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ రిపీట్ అవుతుంది. ఫస్ట్ 2 ఫ్రింజెస్ హీట్ వల్ల డిస్టర్బ్ అవుతున్నాయి, వేగ్గా కనపడుతుంది, ఇక్కడ డిస్టర్బ్ అయినట్టు. తర్వాత హీట్ తీసేసిన తర్వాత ఫ్రింజెస్ ఆర్ ఫార్మింగ్. లైట్ ఈ చివర ఉన్న లైట్ మెల్లగా ఇటు వెనక్కి వచ్చేస్తుంది అన్నమాట. సో అందువల్ల ఇక్కడ ఉన్న ఫ్రింజెస్ మీకు కనపడకుండా పోతాయి, ఉంటాయి ఫ్రింజెస్ అక్కడ. లైట్ ఇటు ఫోకస్ షిఫ్ట్ అవుతుంది కాబట్టి మీకు ఇక్కడగా వచ్చేస్తుంది. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎ క్లాసిక్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ వేర్ ది రిఫ్రాక్షన్ ఆఫ్ లైట్ ఈజ్ డిపెండెంట్ ఆన్ ది డెన్సిటీ ఆఫ్ ది మీడియం అన్నమాట. ఇక్కడ ఫ్లూయిడ్ లేయర్లో ఉన్నటువంటి డెన్సిటీ మార్పు వలన అది ముందర లైట్ ఆ చివరికి వెళ్ళటం, తర్వాత డెన్సిటీ రెస్టోర్ అవుతున్నప్పుడు డెన్సిటీ సర్ఫేస్ దగ్గరలో మళ్ళీ పెరుగుతుంది కాబట్టి ఒరిజినల్ డెన్సిటీ వస్తుంది కాబట్టి వెనక్కి రావడం కూడా చూస్తాం అనమాట. ఈ రిజల్ట్స్ మీకు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశాను, హీట్ వల్ల ఏమవుతుంది అనేసి. Fluid layer close to surface gets heated and becomes rarefied. When the refracted beam moves away from the surface and fringes also get disturbed. When the heat is removed, the density of the fluid layer becomes normal and the fringes get deformed. So the refracted beam is back to illuminate the first 2 fringes అన్నమాట. Property of fluid layer అంటే డీటెయిల్గా స్టడీ చేయలేదు, బట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ from the observations I have noted down, it adheres to the entire surface of solids and liquids and defies gravitation. Thickness is about half a millimeter. It is compressible but offers resistance. The temperature and pressure modify the fringes as we have seen in the previous experiments. When the 2 surfaces are brought together, combination of fluid layers of these 2 surfaces, either solid-solid, solid-liquid, liquid versus liquid, the interference, so-called interference pattern is formed. On a plain solid surface, fluid layer has fringes which taper off from the surface. These fringes close to the solid surface are broader and their width gradually decreases. These fringes are formed due to thermal vibrations of the surface. దాన్నే మనం డైఫ్రాక్షన్ ప్యాటర్న్గా చూస్తున్నాం అనమాట. On account of refraction of light in the fluid layer, light is found in the geometrical shadow of a sharp edge. ఎందుకంటే not only the surface of the edge but also the fluid layer, the density ripples in the fluid layer, they refract light and thereby we find light in the geometrical shadow, which we have been traditionally thinking as diffraction. దీన్ని నేను హీలియంలో మనం చూసేటటువంటి సూపర్ ఫ్లూయిడ్కి అన్వయించడం జరిగిందనమాట. హీలియం యొక్క ఐసోటోప్స్ 2ను, హీలియం-3, హీలియం-4 కూడాను సూపర్ ఫ్లూయిడ్ ఫిల్మ్స్ ఏర్పాటు చేస్తాయి అనేది హిస్టారికల్గా మనకు తెలిసిన ఫ్యాక్టే. సో వెన్ ద టెంపరేచర్ ఈజ్ జస్ట్ అబౌవ్ ది క్రిటికల్ టెంపరేచర్, దట్ ఈజ్ లిక్విఫాక్షన్ టెంపరేచర్, సూపర్ ఫ్లూయిడ్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది అనమాట. హీలియం-4కి అయితే 2.17 degrees కెల్విన్ దగ్గర సూపర్ ఫ్లూయిడ్ ఏర్పడుతుంది. ఈ హీలియం-3కి అయితే 0.02 degrees కెల్విన్ దగ్గర జరుగుతుంది అనమాట. సో బిలో ద టెంపరేచర్ ఏమవుతుందంటే ఆ హీలియం-4, హీలియం-3 లేయర్స్ విత్డ్రా అయిపోతాయి. సో సూపర్ ఫ్లూయిడ్ ఏర్పడినప్పుడు ఏంటంటే ఫ్రమ్ ద లిక్విడ్ వెన్ ది హీలియం బికమ్స్ గ్యాస్, an intermediate state of fluid film is formed on the surface అన్నమాట, surface of the container. So that is known as superfluid film అన్నమాట. That is a well known phenomena. So helium-4 ఉన్నట్లే helium-3 కూడా ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. So as the temperature goes below the superfluid temperature of helium-3 also, so fluid film అనేది పూర్తిగా పోతుంది. అంతకుముందే హైడ్రోజన్, ఆక్సిజన్, నైట్రోజన్ సంబంధించిన ఫ్లూయిడ్ ఫిల్మ్స్ పోతాయి కాబట్టి చివరికి ఏముండదు, నైదర్ ఇంటర్ఫరెన్స్ నా డైఫ్రాక్షన్ ప్యాటర్న్ విల్ బి సీన్ అనేది, దట్ ఈస్ ది కన్క్లూజన్, దట్ ఈస్ ది ఫోర్కాస్ట్ ఐఎమ్ గివింగ్ అన్నమాట. ఫ్లూయిడ్ ఫిల్మ్ ఇంకెక్కడ మనం గమనించామంటే హిస్టారికల్గా డిశ్చార్జ్ ట్యూబ్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్లో, క్యాథోడ్ రే ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్లో 10 kV పొటెన్షియల్ దగ్గర 0.1 mm ప్రెషర్ దగ్గర క్యాథోడ్ గ్లో అనేది ఏర్పడుతుంది. ఆ అంతకుముందు ఏర్పడిన క్యాథోడ్ గ్లో మెల్లగా ముందుకెళ్ళిపోతుంది. దాన్ని ముందుకెళ్ళిపోతే క్యాథోడ్ గ్లోకి క్యాథోడ్కి మధ్యకు ఉన్న స్పేస్ని, డార్క్ స్పేస్ని కూర్క్స్ డార్క్ స్పేస్ అంటాం అనమాట. సో నేను గమనించింది ఏంటంటే దానికి వేరే ఇంటర్ప్రిటేషన్ ఇచ్చినా కానీ cathode glow is nothing but the glow of the fluid layer. ఎందుకంటే క్యాథోడ్ నుంచి కంటిన్యూస్గా ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ పంప్ అవుతున్నాయి కాబట్టి టువర్డ్స్ యానోడ్, ఈ ఫ్లూయిడ్ లేయర్ క్యాప్చర్స్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్. ఎనీ మీడియం విచ్ క్యాప్చర్స్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ విల్ గ్లో అనమాట. ఆ గ్లో అనేది అట్లా సంభవిస్తుంది. గ్రాడ్యువల్గా ఎక్కువ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఇన్ ద ఫ్లూయిడ్ లేయర్ వలన క్యాథోడ్కిను ఈ ఫ్లూయిడ్ లేయర్కి మధ్య రిపల్షన్, ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ రిపల్షన్ వల్ల అది డిటాచ్ అయిపోతుంది. ఇట్ గెట్స్ స్ట్రిప్డ్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద సర్ఫేస్ అండ్ మూవ్స్ ఫార్వర్డ్ అనమాట డ్యూ టు రిపల్షన్స్ అనమాట. సో అందుకనే ఈ గ్లో మధ్య ఉన్న స్పేస్ మనకు డార్క్గా కనిపిస్తుంది. దానే క్రూక్స్ డార్క్ స్పేస్ అంటారు అనమాట. ఈ రకంగా ఫ్లూయిడ్ లేయర్ అనేది డ్యూ టు పొటెన్షియల్, డ్యూ టు రిపల్షన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ మనం డిటాచ్ అవటం ఇక్కడ గమనించాము. తర్వాత లో టెంపరేచర్లో క్రైజనిక్ సర్కమ్స్టెన్సెస్లో బిలో హీలియం 3 టెంపరేచర్లో అది ఫ్లూయిడ్ లేయర్ పూర్తిగా లిక్విడ్ రూపంలోకి వెళ్ళిపోవటం, సర్ఫేస్ని డిటాచ్ అవటం అనేది అక్కడ గమనించాము. ఫ్రమ్ ఫోర్గోయింగ్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ ఇట్స్ ఎవిడెంట్ ఇంటర్ఫిరెన్స్ డైఫ్రాక్షన్ ప్యాటర్న్స్ ఆర్ డ్యూ టు fluid layer naturally adhering on solid and liquid surfaces at room temperature, and explaining interference and diffraction basing on the wave theory of light has to be reevaluated immediately in the wake of the fluid layer that is discovered. దీంట్లో క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటే కైండ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ అడగండి, ఐ విల్ ఆన్సర్ దమ్. సార్ దీస్ ఆర్ ది న్యూటన్స్ రింగ్స్ అండ్ ఏక్రిలిక్ షీట్. మామూలుగా గ్లాస్ ప్లేట్ మీద పెడతాము, దాని మీద అయితే పర్ఫెక్ట్గా సర్క్యులర్గా వస్తుంది. దీని ఏక్రిలిక్ షీట్ మీద పెట్టి, ఎందుకంటే ప్రెషర్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్స్, హీట్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ చేయడం దీని మీద ఈజీగా ఉంటుందని. ఐ విల్ డూ ద ప్రెషర్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ విత్ దిస్. సర్ఫేస్ మీద ఉన్న ప్రొజెక్షన్ దగ్గర ఫ్రింజెస్ ఆర్ గెట్టింగ్ డిస్టర్బ్. మామూలుగా యాది న్యూటన్స్ రింగ్ సెటప్ ఇన్ ఫ్రేమ్ కాబట్టి ఫ్రేమ్కి సంబంధించిన ఇట్లా స్క్రూస్ తిప్పినా కానీ సేమ్ ప్రెషర్ ఎఫెక్ట్ విల్ ఫీల్ ఇట్. ఐ జస్ట్ రిపీట్ ఇట్ అగైన్. సో మచ్ ఆఫ్ డిస్టార్షన్ అండ్ ప్రొజెక్షన్ దగ్గర క్లియర్గా కనపడుతుంది. దీంట్లో ఏమైనా అనుమానం ఉందా జస్ట్ ఈ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్లో? ఐ డూ ద హీట్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ కీపింగ్ ది క్యాండిల్ అండర్నీత్. See how they come forward, like rest towards the center under the influence of heat. They are totally disappeared. They will come back. Anyway, I will keep it at a distance. So much distortion you find in this heating experiment. Any other experiment you want? Any?
It is like liquid.
It is a state between liquid and gas.
Liquid and gas.
Yeah.
And have you calculated the wavelength of the sodium light by using these Newton rings?
My whole point is that there is no wave at all associated with light.
Carry out that experiments, liquid helium, liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
And different, if possible, you can calculate and prove that theory also.
No, because already literature is there. Fluid layer is being
It is
formed.
a strong evidence for publication the results. It will helpful for the publish the results also.
No, those experiments can be done. These are the, because original experiments were done at room temperature. Most of the experiments are conducted at room temperature only, except for that heat experiment. Liquid helium, superfluidity I am connecting. Every gas, when it goes from liquid state to gaseous state, it forms that intermediate state of the fluid layer. So that we have clearly seen in superfluidity, that with helium, even hydrogen displays superfluid. So all the ambient gases, they form a layer. Of course, I have not studied at length which layer forms first, which layer forms second, or they get mixed up in the composite fluid layer. That I have not studied. But one conclusion I have come is that the fluid layer is responsible for the interference and diffraction fringes, not light. Light is only enabling us to see the pattern that is inherent, that is density ripples in the fluid layer on account of the heat as well as pressure.
What do we do with the reflection and refraction of
Sir, light, to tell you, it has nothing, the fluid layer properties have nothing to do with the nature of light. Only applicability of nature of light is with the sodium vapor lamp. When you use the sodium vapor lamp, because there are compressions and rarefactions. See, in Newton's rings experiment, let me explain how the rings are formed. There is a glass plate below or a acrylic sheet which has got 0.5 millimeter thickness that fluid layer already there by doing experiments only. In the experiments only, anyhow, it can be this way that because another thing is with the heat, the fluid layer gets expanded. It expands up to 5 millimeters also. So that's why I said it's expanded. Now, either you keep a glass plate or acrylic sheet, and that lens you keep. Lens has got on the curvature also, so this fluid layer in the curved shape. Now that fluid comes in contact with the fluid below. Virtually, the lens is floating on that fluid, composite fluid. That's why you don't see the surface pattern of the surface below, the projections and all. So because of the weight of the lens, it is bobbing up and down. Because of the weight, ripples are generated. So they are taper off from the center. So they are ripples because it is a fluid, that is, it's a gas, it's a state between gas and liquid. If it is a liquid, the ripples are, if you throw a pebble in a trough of water, they will be up and down. Whereas in gas, the ripples will be compressions and rarefactions, longitude. So what I found here is there are compressions and rarefactions as well as these ripples also, up and down ripples also. So it's a combination of both. But we have certainly the compressions and rarefactions. With sodium vapor light, what you see, the compression portion looks dark because it absorbs and disperses light. So photons coming up are minimal. Whereas in the rarefied portions, light goes and comes up. So it looks bright. That is the explanation.
how to estimate the thickness of the air using your experiment, your concept?
I have not gone into those details. With the laser beam, we can establish it. No, I have not done those experiments.
That's why we are asking so many questions.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Like as a corollary, we can do all those experiments also.
What efforts are you making to realize
Sir.
the nature of the film, liquid film, whatever you call?
I have to do experiments. I am taking their assistance now. Because it is a state between gas and liquid. So it will have the properties like surface tension, the density, viscosity, all these aspects we have to assess. And they are the functions of the temperature and pressure.
Density also.
Density.
Retired professor of physics from Kakatiya University, also former dean of faculty of science. At present, I am working as principal of Biology Institute of Engineering and Sciences, in Narsampet, Warangal district. So this is my fourth interaction with Prasad Rao Garu. First time I met him in his office when he was the MD of APS RTC. Then I went to his home to see his laboratory and the experiments. Third time I heard him in Chennai in a national conference, and this is the fourth time. So there are two aspects for his experiments. The first is experimental. The experimental results have eternal value. Nobody can dispute. Because if it is done by me or some X, Y, Z, if it is done today, tomorrow, 10 years or 100 years, the same results will come. But that we have to realize. The second part is theoretical explanation. This can change as new things are discovered. This can change. I can give you some examples. When he was talking, he referred to waves and ether. When we talk of waves, there are two things: elastic waves and electromagnetic waves. Before the advent of electromagnetic theory by Maxwell, the idea of propagation of waves is through medium only. Without medium, waves cannot propagate. That is about 150 years ago, 1860. They could not think that waves can propagate without medium. When Maxwell discovered his four equations and derived all those things, he did not talk of any ether. So there is no question of ether. Ether was ruled out. Then we come to 1912 or 13, Bohr's theory of hydrogen atom. At that time, it was only electromagnetic theory, and people said that there is a nucleus around that electrons are revolving. If electron is moving in a circular orbit or some other orbit, it has to accelerate, because the velocity, direction of the velocity changes instant to instant. Any accelerating particle should lose its energy, radius should decrease, ultimately it should end up in the nucleus, destroying the proposal itself. Therefore, taking the clue from this electromagnetic theory, he said there are certain specified orbits. If electron is situated there, it cannot lose its energy. It will lose energy only when it goes from one orbit to the other. Similarly,
Sir, I have one point to make here
Yeah.
in respect of the stationary orbits.
yeah,
We in physics, in science, we believe in cause and effect and logic, basic logic. How come electrons, which are material entities, traveling in certain orbits, they have certain properties, and they go to, when they are transit, they have different properties. Or, for example, electrons in the transit in cosmic rays, the beta rays, they are not losing their energy. They are still identified as electrons only. How come only in the Bohr's stationary orbits that you find this thing happening? What is the logic there, sir?
now these orbits are there only to understand. If you go to quantum mechanics, it is not an orbit, it is a cloud.
No, that is a model, sir, but
It's
in the
only
physical
model
terms,
to understand.
yes, sir. In the physical terms, how do we reconcile to it?
Then here,
Sir,
he
Chappan,
is
sir.
put forward a new idea that there is a fluid layer. This fluid is neither liquid nor gas. It is something in between. And many things have to be deciphered about the properties of this film. It is only in initial stages. He is overburdened with his own work. It is only a part-time interest, as Raman did his research when he was working with the finance department in Calcutta. When I discussed with my son, he will not be able to carry out this theory. He needs at least a set of 6 dedicated, intelligent people to bring out the actual theory behind it. So with this, let us take his theory with open mind, and we hope in future people will take this as starting point and come up with answers which we have now. As on today, any physicist whose mind is embedded with wave theory will not accept it. It is very, very difficult. Right? So let us take it with an open mind, and let us wish him that the people will take it forward to a reasonable and good conclusion. Thank you.
Madhusudan Rao from JNTU.
Sir,
Uh,
by the way, sir is my guide in the
Okay.
JNTU.
it's an accidental thing.
Yes, sir.
Like we have been teaching for students for the last 25 years, Huygens principles and Huygens theory
Sir,
for explanation of interference and diffraction. And we have supporting theories for it, and also experimental results to validate the theory. And we have done a lot of derivations and mathematical treatment for it. and there was no issues so far being raised by the scientists or anyone. But now that when Prasad Rao sir has approached me and discussed about the experiments what he has performed for the last 10 years, which was not known to us earlier, we started looking at each experiment in a detailed way. So he has come to me and then demonstrated through laptop one by one the experiments, and since that it is being done as an experimental result, there is nothing like a questioning which we can do here because we are visibly seeing them, the results. But only issues which one has to take up here is the existing theory of Huygens principle, division of amplitude, division of wavefront concept to explain biprism studies and Newton's rings have to be revived now. That doesn't mean that wave theory is wrong. At the same time, we would like to now look at, we both are working together now, to look at in a different direction, wherein Newton's corpuscular theory can also be used here to demonstrate interference pattern without the Kress and Strauss concept, wherein we try to understand the constructive and destructive interference by means of Kress and Strauss using transverse nature of light. Whereas now we are trying to look at the same Newton's rings results by means of the fluid layer, which has got characteristics of neither completely liquid nor gas. It's an intermediate state. So our interest now is to see what physical parameters can be attached to this fluid layer,
yeah.
number one. Number two, as Newton said that corpuscular theory is the one which can explain the reflection, refraction, dispersion and deviation studies in physics. We would like to now see how exactly this fluid layer will help us to incorporate a reflection concept, refraction concept, and study of this reflection and refraction through density variation in the fluid layers. So a lot of issues have to be taken up to be understood here first of all about the fluid layer, and we have to attach some parameters like surface tension and viscosity of layers and density variation of these layers with variation with the temperature. And unless we cope up with the mathematical treatment and derive some relations, which we are now trying to do it with the help of our group in JNTU, we will not be able to consolidate the experimental results with a solid proof through a theoretical interpretation.
Actually, sir, I agree with you. These are the experimental results. So we have to give mathematical formulation to it to get wider acceptance. That is number one. Number two is there is a point here that the original optical properties like reflection, refraction from the surface, so they can be explained with or without fluid layer. For example, reflection from a hard surface is without fluid layer also it happens. Refraction, basically, if you see the prism experiment, when the photons go through the prism, beam of rays, because of the density variation in the prism, they get refracted and the colors are formed with white light. So we have to take it in a different direction. Suppose the Professor Einstein's famous experiment, like in the general theory, he postulated that the starlight, when it comes close to the sun, it gets refracted. There is a bending of starlight, which was actually witnessed during the eclipse of the sun, that is solar eclipse. It was studied also. So my feeling is photons being material particles, they are amenable to gravitational pull. So due to strong gravitational pull of the sun, the starlight got refracted, that is bent. So the refraction in normal circumstances can be explained in that fashion. So fluid layer is incidental. If it is fluid layer is there, the diffraction pattern will be formed, or the light in the geometrical shadow will be seen. Without fluid layer, refraction still will be there because of the material body. So, but the pattern will not be there. Sir,
Indirectly, we can make a study about the layer by layer how the diffraction is taking place. Does it have relevance to our results what we are getting in the diffraction?
diffraction, yes, certainly diffraction has a bearing on the fluid layer.
So that is where one has to now spend time.
Sir, this is oil slick on water. The surface pattern keeps changing. I am just stirring it. So you can see the pattern, distorted Newton's rings and things like that. If professors can come and see through the eyepiece, you will just one. It is an interesting this thing.
Just hours before, maybe
Sir.
24 or 48 hours before, scientists internationally
Sir,
from Fermi Lab, they have almost got the boson, almost got the Higgs boson.
just it's diesels.
Higgs boson is the brick.
Higgs boson is
Boson is the brick.
postulated as the building brick of the entire material.
Yeah, entire material. That means that is going to support the Big Bang theory.
Sir,
That
Big
is
Bang
going
theory has
to
nothing to do with this thing, sir.
Another.
Let me explain. When you are on Big Bang theory, I will explain a lot of loose ends which Big Bang theory can't explain. Number one is that cosmic rays, primary cosmic rays coming from various directions with so much of velocity, how if it is from the Big Bang, they should go away from us, how they are coming to us and from all directions. So there are so many things. See, in my view, universe is the Big Bang universe is only limited thing, and there is much more lies ahead which we are not able to perceive. I'll support this claim with the experimental results or with the observed facts. One is that you must have heard about the dark matter and dark energy. Actually, the gravitational lensing of the light coming from the farthest celestial body